Good evening, everyone, and welcome back to 2_MK's Disc Guidance stream. This is being rebroadcast from my Kanzuki Dynasty channel to our main 2_MK channel, of course with my full permission. And today we will be going over LauraBot 1.4. I have never seen or fought this bot before. I did not even put it in myself. Just fine did that while I was at work on my way home. And so we're going to get to see some of my first experiences here and go through our new LauraBot. Now, oops. Wait, am I supposed to have V-meter? Let me check on this here. I am not supposed to have V-meter. Okay.
Although, if you are checking out a new V trigger for your meaties, it might be good to just have it on for the exploratory phase.
So first, what is LauraBot? For those of you who have not used our LauraBot 1.0, which was our I seem to be unusually quiet. Let me see if I can fix this somehow. Well, is this any better, team? So while we are figuring out if I can be heard, I guess I can't really explain anything while we're figuring out if I can be heard. Well, let me see if I can do something a little different. Alright, seemingly constantly plagued by technical difficulties these days. Is this any clearer now? Can you hear me better? Well, alright, it seems that I am in fact more audible now on my own stream playback. That's particularly strange, but now I'm using a different microphone, so hopefully this will work better. So now, from the beginning, I am restreaming from my personal channel to our main 2_MK channel, where you can find all of our content, not just the bits that I personally take care of. And we are going over LauraBot 1.4 now, who is the evolution of our existing Season 1 LauraBot, or well, season whichever, our prior LauraBot. And now we are going to take a look at this. I have not seen this particular version of LauraBot before. Just Vine put it in for me while I was on my way home from work. And we are going to find out how it goes. So, LauraBot's purpose is to help you sort out your meaties, both learning them and practicing getting them right. Her purpose is sort of to punish you for meaties that aren't real, more or less, eyeball meaties that you don't get quite right, so that you can focus on learning your more mechanical ones, or if you are very intrepid, super stress training yourself to get the eyeball ones completely correct. The first iteration of LauraBot, LauraBot 1.0, which you can find on our website 2-mk.org, is designed with obviously V-Trigger 1 in mind, since that was the only V-Trigger Laura had at the time. And so now we have this new bot, which is primarily a V-Trigger 2 bot. So let's see how this goes. I know basically one meaty that I have down for Kareen so far. And so I am not going to necessarily mess with that one too much, but try to get used to another one or two that I'm aware of, but haven't trained heavily yet. So, as it stands, I'm just going to give that a little bit of a try. Step 1, getting a meaty, is to knock you down. Oh, well, before I do that, I should go over the point system for the bot, at least in brief. So you can get points for various things. One is at the easiest level for punishing heavy bolt correctly, since it's not a standard crush counter. Then otherwise, getting meaties on knockdowns from Laura, coming off of either anti-airs or whatever you want, except a sweep. And then you can, at the higher levels, lose points for getting hit, or blocking her Thunderclap shield. So for the moment, let's see here. That was evasive. She wasn't in V-Trigger. Alright, noted. So definitely making the heavy bolt there a little hard to punish. I'm not sure if that's always or if just that action set goes on, but I'm gonna have to make sure I do the right thing. My controls are backwards. Why are my controls backwards? Do 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 do. Anything else? Do 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 do. Okay. That should make things a little easier, since that button is involved in the meaty that I want, knockdown that I wanted to be doing my meaty off of, and in the meaty. This is actually useful for me because I need to, even at the first level, because I need to get used to, even though I shouldn't be using normal crush counter stuff, I still need to get used to what to do when I hit with stand heavy punch into things without the standard crush counter thing. I think I must have gotten the follow-up there. As for the meaties part of it, step one is, of course, getting the knockdown you want. She's going to be good for getting your meaties in non-ideal situations. Oops. Because she's definitely pressury. Like this one that I seem to be missing today. Alright. Normal rise that time. I presume she can also quick rise, so you can practice all form of your meaties. Alright, V-trigger on rise. I suppose that's evasion on rise is something you're going to have to deal with. Oops, that's not what I want. That's not it. That's one. Oof, she is super pressury. So I guess actually on the first stage of the bot you can do, if you have to punish that heavy bolt, hack. If you get a knockdown off of your combo, that would make a decent oh my. Decent way to do this. Alright. And while our original LauraBot did have a bit of basic Laura matchup stuff, this version of LauraBot has less of that, although it's certainly still crushing me and such. It would teach me a little less about the matchup in general. It's more so for its specified purpose of helping you train meaties. There is a variant you can use for one of the actions, I'm told, that will take care of that to some degree and let you put a little bit of that back in. Hack. So, anyway, just for a specific that V-trigger explanation, the specific meaty that I'm testing out here now is off of it's actually off of Mayoken. Stop giving me trouble. So I have to land Mayoken, and one of the easiest ways to do that is off of Coach Medium Kick. I'm more used to focusing on my meaties for the quick and back recoveries, and less accustomed to focusing on them for the slow recovery. So This is actually a little new to me still. Yeah, the not getting blocked by or not blocking the that one is going to be difficult a little bit. I think I managed, even though I did get the what do you call that? Proximity block. I did not actually get hit by the move. Oops, I need to hit that twice. So let's see here. What? Okay. I was not aware personally that she could dash forward through that quite that easily. See, I want to clip her under that, but I'm not sure if I actually can do that. It's not what I normally try to just avoid the situation versus Laura's online. Oof. This newbie trigger is troublesome. I'm a little curious to see how this bot behaves with V-Trigger 1, but it is mainly intended for use with V-Trigger 2. And so that's what I'm working on for the moment. This doesn't work if I don't... So, well, obviously it's plenty easy to just go ham on the bot a little bit. You do sort of have to, you do have to manage to stay alive until you... Dang, okay. So regardless of its specified purpose, this bot is definitely good for getting a little bit used to random death by V-Trigger. Since obviously if you want to get your points or do anything with the bot, you're gonna have to manage to stay alive long enough to accumulate said points and not have things like that happen to you. So, heck. Alright, let's... That requires a really quick reaction. To get the punish on that heavy bolt. It's very quick. Back. I'm so used to dashing for my meaties. little late there, but if you actually do it, even if you're late, you can at least get it in a row in your head, more or less. I think that's coming out a little early, which implies that I might be misremembering this particular meeting. So I might need to go check that, or ask someone to check it for me. To see whether I know that off of Tenko, at least in Season 2, and maybe something tiny has changed in Season 3, and that's my problem. Although I don't remember a specific change that would have caused this. I should have a meaty off of light Mayoken that is obviously stand light kick into heavy Mayoken. But then I think after that I get another heavy Mayoken and I don't need to dash or hit anything else again. But I would appreciate some confirmation on this if Brillian or OmniRabbit are watching the stream. Heck. On the other hand, that sort of leads into the other thing this bot is useful for. She gives you a way to... That V-trigger! I think it starts in... Actually, I think it starts in... It might start in 2 frames, the same as Karin's parry does. I don't know how quickly it goes invincible. So that actually makes it... if it has like even 1 frame, it makes it really easy to test your... God. Well, it's frustrating, but it's a very strong tool for testing your meaties, because if your target goes invincible like 1 to 2 frames after their wake up, you definitely know if you're hitting it frame perfect or not. Sadly, I can't quite go through that with that. Make a much easier way to do this. Not fast enough. She managed to land and cancel. That's one way to punish something. So anyway, for my own curiosity, since this is the first time I've seen the bot, and I did not think to ask about this before, I'm just going to check that quick, since I know a way to do it in probably about a minute. Or less. So I may start my clock immediately. Well, alright. That did not work as expected. So, I'm actually going to switch characters a bit here. And rather than trying to practice meaties I already know, I'm going to see if I can learn some meaties I do not yet know, or figure some out. And if Laura will give me the opportunity to do that, since that is one of the proposed purposes of this bot. As I was explaining earlier, it's not just for practicing ones you've calculated, it can also be useful for working them out. So first things first, what do I want a meaty off of? I end up shoryukening people a lot, and that would be helpful to have a meaty off of. But I don't think I get one on quick recovery no matter what I do. I believe I can combo off of that, so I don't specifically need a meaty off of that one. Leaving my next obvious candidate to be, I believe, the EX Tatsu Mei knockdown. I'm sure it shows a little about me that I'm not even sure what moves I have that knock down, but Shoryuken in the corner is certainly something that will have meaty options. So I'm betting that I should give myself... Well, no, I don't need to give myself meter for this, although I might do that in a little bit. Problem is I've got to get you back into the corner in order to test any sort of corner meaties. Luckily she's a little easy to put into the corner, apparently. Even if she will go directly back out of it. I'm spending more time here than she is, unfortunately. Alright, that whiffed. So, I don't think that was a back recovery, I think that was a quick recovery. So if that is too slow on quick recovery, do I get anything at all? How about medium punch? I'm going to give myself my meter here, just so that I can actually keep doing this to meaty off of. Not what I was intending, so let's just skip that whole step. One nice thing about this bot is she will apparently give me at least enough opportunities to get her with either throw or... not quite what I was intending, but something like this. Ah, well, I might have to practice this one later. Dear Lord. Fine, so be it. What can I get off of this, then? Another knockdown that I'm not likely to use too infrequently. It puts her pretty far away, though, so I think this one is also only going to work in the corner. Into the corner, please. I don't know if that was a back recover or not. Let's see here. Because I would really love to manage to land a hit with this. Oh, it actually looks like it's too early rather than too late. So I'm going to do something a little slower. Alright, well, my back heavy punch is how many frames? Let's see here. That's a 7-frame button, so if I need something from beyond that, it could be my stand heavy punch indeed. So let's see if that works. Stand heavy punch being 2 frames longer. Gotta get her to actually rise properly. Well, of course I can do it by I will call that random chance, although it was probably just me being used to things. So let's see. An alternative that I have here, rather than trying to melee directly off of any of these moves, is to cover the back recovery so that people are forced to handle the standard recovery. That is a fair point that really makes in-stream. That part of this bot is to be learning to get yourself out of the situation when you go for a quicker back rise melee and they stay down. And so that sort of also parallels to the not quite ideal situations thing I was talking about, where rather than dealing with the back rise metees, or quick rise, I can force them to do that more by learning a normal rise melee that doesn't actually affect, that even though it doesn't hit those, because I don't have anything for that, I can make sure they stay up and that they don't get to stay down, have time to think, or anything like that. So, in the vein of things I would love to have be meaty, I wonder if I can meaty land on your head. Not off of this, because it's too far away. Even that won't do. Unless they decided to wake up with something that moved forward. Which Laura will certainly do a lot for me, so I could test that possibly against this bot if I chose to. But for the moment, let's instead go and look at... Well, after I recover. Let's instead go and look at this one again. That might be in range. That's plenty in range, but I think even on normal recovery, don't have enough time to actually do anything useful. So let's try it one or two more times so that we can examine that. Dash Atoshi possibly, huh? Well, let's give it a shot. I need to be faster about the Atoshi than that, but it might work. Oops, I have to actually do the dashing. Too far into the corner and it doesn't work anymore. It seems like that's a little too fast, actually. Well, if it's too fast, what can I do about that? I wish too fast meant that the quick rise was a little easier for me. But alas. Actually, I don't even need the Atoshi, do I? Although that would be nice to land. Do I just get straight up double dash things? Nope, that's still too fast. Well, the alternative would be to use the Atoshi to get in. Aho! Now there's something. It looks as if dash forward Atoshi, neutral input, and just land back on the ground will get me... Well, I'm not sure what yet, but it seems to put me in a tight-ish timing that will let me just actually use a button. Although I need to do it right after I input the move, or this isn't going to be very useful information to me. Well, that was pleasant. Okay, so we're testing more of that, clearly. Other side of me, please, so I can put you out of the corner. So this does actually work. I can't tell what kind of recovery that is. Oh! Is it just that the quick recovery on this is super long anyway? So that even when she does it, I have plenty of time. Alas, that is not a way through a fireball. Well, I suppose if they try to jump, I can do that. Oops. Switch sides. It certainly gets over, well, actually that's really useful because it looks like that is a quick rise recovery, because obviously I do get it from time to time, where she's just outright too slow. She seems to have a bit of time to do things, though, so I'm not entirely sure if this is a proper meaty or not. Or it might only be back recovery. I'm not sure if I'm going to get my personal timing good enough to test this properly. Now. There was a proper quick recovery. So if she quick recovers, I will definitely still be in the air. But, well, she can wake against me with an anti-air, which could be troublesome, I suppose. Or... I don't think that's necessarily terribly evasive against anti-airs. I have yet to test it fully in that regard, and I should do so later. But... it looks like I can get a... I can't tell if that was a back recovery or not. I should be looking at the spacings rather than the timings, of course. So come on, Laura, let me at this. Now that would be troublesome, obviously, in a match if they could learn to wake up and do that. But I think the spacing is a little odd if I get it timed properly. So let's find out. Sad I don't think that gets me into anything, but if my stand heavy kick hits 12 frames, I bet I can get my... well, let's see if my stand heavy punch will hit as well. Because that I can cancel. So obviously part of meaty selection is figuring out what you can do with them after you hit. And of course, how safe you are on the hit. I wouldn't want to use DP for meaty regardless of anything else. Alright, I will take that advice. Brilliant has noted that the best way to test the timing on at least anywhere you could hit a button is to throw instead of actually using the button. So I'm going to give that a chance. Although I need her to not quick recover for it. It seems really dangerous on quick recover though, so I'm not sure that this is going to be a good solution in general, regardless of whether it works on a slow recover very well. Well, let's take a break from that and test out this. Oops. Trying to do the same thing, of course. Indeed. I suppose I did get her to quick prize. I think I was hoping to do it in a somewhat safer way, but come to think of it, the way I was considering this, I do not necessarily get a safer way to do that. Unless... let's have another look. Come on, got to get you out. I think when she quick rises, I might be able to get just dash up stand heavy kick because it is a very long button. But let's test that dash-up theory and using the method that was just suggested, and since in the corner I can in fact reach with the throw by range. I can't tell. So now what is the second step here? Because I cannot tell if I'm throwing too early or too late exactly. Come back over here, please. Alright, well. That is certainly the data for 5 frames in any case. And that is the data for 9 frames. Excuse me. What else can we do here? And that, now we see a real world explanation of what I'm meeting after. Come on, corner meaty. Alright, stand heavy punch 9 frame is not in fact slow enough, I think. So it is down to 12 frame. Got her sway going on. Oof, that sway lasts a really long time. Oops. She was able to jump out of that, which means it came early. So alright. One cannot in fact meaty this particular way. So, considering that, unless that was a back recover, it's hard to tell in the corner, I think. So I'll test it 1 or 2 more times. I think that was back. Oh, right. I was originally trying that with the dash, but then I managed to forget about the dash, which obviously does not help me. Well, that went positively, but let's find out if I can do it again. Stand heavy kick is useful in that particular way because it is in fact a crush counter, although it is -4 on block, so I can get jab comboed. For various characters, that will still be useful. The timing properties on this one are probably a little different. Oops. Almost got my point for that, but not this time it seems. So it looks like I might just barely have the range for that on... I think this would be a normal recovery? Yes. Actually, I'm not entirely positive. So this seems to actually work somewhat already. I'm slightly hesitant because it is a little bit of... When I was mentioning an eyeball meaty before, I didn't actually explain what that was. An eyeball meaty is a term that I have heard for meaties that basically that you do by eye, that you don't have a perfect sequence behind them that gets the timing exactly right. You just do a particular meaty that you feel like should work on the timing that you're used to getting it done at. Sometimes you can be a few frames off this way. Obviously you need a way to train yourself and test yourself and get used to it properly. But this concerned me a little because while it is very rhythmic in terms of when I'm pressing the buttons, I'm afraid that I'm not doing it at like the minimum time frames or anything because the oops. When I do this move, I control when I press the kick to enter the dive kick mode of it. Or if I pressed whatever else, to enter whatever other mode of it. And this, obviously, makes it, regardless of how tightly or perfectly I time the base initial press, it makes it a little bit of an eyeball matter regardless. Which actually leaves me inadvertently using the bot for the other, one of the other parts of her purpose. Allowing oneself to master that sort of thing if you really choose to. That sway is remarkable. So now let me decide what I'm actually going to try here. First things first, obviously I can hit like that, but I have range issues. So I'm going to see if I can dash and do the throw version. Because this will eliminate some of that problem, as I will always be pressing this throw when I'm basically almost completely on the ground or on top of the opponent. So if that is functional as a meaty I can do, that will work. At least if they block, I can do that instead. And then it becomes a bit of a mix-up, even if not a perfect meaty, because depending on what they do to try and stop me, I can either do that or not. If it does, the dive kick falls slower than the standard. I see. Ack. Does anything work on this one? Not by range, not without the dash anyway. You'd think it would be easier to land an EXDP. Oh, that time I went completely over. Alright, well, with that, I think we will go over the inputs for this bot, since we have not yet done that on this stream. And go through and have a look and show that off a little bit. I have not gone over these inputs before myself, obviously based on what I mentioned. So I'm actually going to ask Just Fine to help me out with this little bit of the stream. Just going down the inputs and showing that off for this new version of LauraBot. These... Well, let's just get on with it, shall we?
Hello, Just Fine here. So, the inputs are a little different from 1.0. The first input is down or down back light kick, down or down back light punch, which should combo into 2-3-6 and end immediately as if you were doing a special move. So this is one of our edge shifted inputs. Basically, the crouching light kick and crouching light punch give Laura a way to interrupt quickly on wake up, as well as interrupt a player who is trying to pressure her, and clip any weird overextensions by the player. The 2-3-6 obviously will come into play for a lot of other things down the road, but the one, if you can get it to crouch block, it's recommended, since having a bit of defense in LauraBot is useful for testing your meaties, since it's not always easy to tell if you hit her and she was just not doing anything at that particular moment due to the way the timer worked on a move off of the wake up. But it can be hard for some novices, so don't worry about it too hard if it's difficult, but honestly, it's one of the easier inputs in here. So as long as it is comboing and it can do a special, and one going into another move can do whatever special it's supposed to do, such as Thunderclap, EX, or yeah, I think it's just that one. So moving on to 2.
And of course, don't worry, these will all be up on our website in relatively short order, along with some descriptions and details to help you along.
So this input is very different from the original input 2 for LauraBot. It is standing light punch with a hidden standing V trigger into 6-3-2-1-4, which is a half circle back, and then you end it immediately. This is another edge shifted input. She can do quite a lot because of this. It allows her to do a clap, and for other inputs, it allows her to do a throw. A command throw, I mean. But it also has the interesting ability to let her use her V-trigger throw very rarely, as you can see. Whether or not she uses that is highly dependent on its interaction with a later input, and of course how you punish her. So moving on to number 3. So for number 3, we have a standing double punch or triple punch. We recommend light punch and heavy punch, or just a triple punch button. Then a hidden 6 double punch, 2 double punch. And this does a few things. First of all, it's the first input that allows a quick rise. Having variability in her ability to rise and in different directions is very important for testing your Okizime or Wake Up game.
Obviously, as you just saw, it apparently allows her to do this.
Yes, if you use the triple punch version, she will rarely be able to V-reversal. Once you have all the pieces together, it gets quite less frequent. So let's move on to number 4. This is probably the simplest input in the entire bot. It is just throw with a hidden 9 and ending before the throw finishes. So you want to end around the throw with. This gives her the ability to jump on Wake as well as tech, and those are also 2 very important things when it comes to testing a player's ability to react to a defensive response to a meaty. So if you jump away from a command throw or a throw, you'll need to be able to figure out, spacing wise, where is Laura? How can I respond to this? If at all, do I need to be defensive? Is there a way I can make something of the situation? And similarly for teching, the space at which Laura and you are apart from each other depends on when you did the throw tech and when she did the throw tech. So the spacing will change slightly depending on that, and learning what to do right after that will be important for more advanced parts of your Oki game, which the upgraded version of LauraBot is designed to help with, although JuryBot is still a little more useful for that. But this is supposed to be a slightly harder version of LauraBot and more focused specifically on the Oki game. So it probably will allow you to do a air... No. Okay. Anyway, moving on to the final input here. So this one is a little familiar, although still not quite the same. It is standing medium kick or medium kick, light kick if you want a back roll, which we recommend if you can manage the input, with a hidden forward heavy punch and heavy kick, and a ending with a forward V skill from Laura. So you should be ending the input just as she's starting to do that forward dash V skill. The hidden forward heavy punch heavy kick allows her to do her command throw from her V trigger 2 as well as sway. So when combined with 2 and 5, you should be getting the V trigger 2 quite frequently. But because they are both hidden, in order for her to do the V trigger, it's up to you to get her flow and rhythm such that she's activating it. Which is good because it technically makes punishing her, as Kanzuki Dynasty was showing earlier, for certain characters with the meaty options. So you'll have to react and learn your reactions to that happening. But generally, LauraBot is a very good example of what you do to the bot affecting what the bot is capable of doing. The better you get at doing your meaties, punishing the heavy bolt, and adapting to her spacings, it does rise in difficulty a bit. So those are the pieces for LauraBot. And I will hand this back off to Kanzuki Dynasty for a little bit more.
Alright, hello again everyone. And of course, if you didn't catch all of that right away, these inputs and descriptions and such will all go up on our website, 2-mk.org/bots, just like all of our other bots and other bot variants have. And you can even watch our Twitter, 2_mk_FGC, to get notified when that happens if you follow us. And so that will give you an easier way to look over this and input it yourself. It will probably be up sometime this weekend or next weekend. And overall, that is LauraBot. Actually, is my first experience with LauraBot, which I might continue to poke at just a little bit longer here. But otherwise, we may or may not release it immediately, since we do have to have the whole team go over and test the inputs, putting it in ourselves, seeing how things shift, all of that. And just getting a little bit of an idea for it, since these inputs are a little more edge shift involved and more complex than some of the previous LauraBot versions. So even though it's lenient, we will be seeing if we can get any more experience or data here. Otherwise, I have now tried it with 2 characters. So let's head off and over to Cammy, my third other mainish character that I have, and we will see how that goes. Hopefully her meaties will be a little easier to get in the first place, in terms of the knockdowns and such. So here we are. But yes, I'm going to try out a few Cammy meaties that I know relatively well, so you can see how the bot flows with perfect meaties. Since if I can get these knockdowns, they are meaties that I have a little bit more experience putting in. So step 1 is, of course, obviously not die immediately. Not that one. Or that one. I don't need my meter for this, actually, so I'm going to go turn that back off to avoid accidental CAs and all of that, and simply because it's not necessary for the bot. I had it on for Sakura, since obviously I was testing metered knockdowns. I don't know the, or no, I do know the back recover meeting for this. Alright. I've not done these in a while, but for Cammy meaties off, Spiral Arrow is actually very simple. Dash up, crouch medium punch will do it for you. And you can even cancel that right back into a Spiral Arrow, if you really want to. Or happen to be good enough to confirm it. Then on normal rise, oops. So I have to validate these again for Season 2, but this is a decent chance for doing that. And I don't think any of the frame data has changed in a way that matters. Oh, sorry, Season 3. So, that is the normal recover meaty off of this. my light punch. Oops, that needed to be forward. Of course, it's very easy to land meaties, and even somewhat to... Well, actually, that's a valid consideration. One of the things the bot lets you do is, while it's very easy to rack up points once you've gotten very good with your meaties, simply by looping them, it offers you the opportunity to, by doing so, train your confirms, because obviously the bot can back recover, it can normal recover, it can quick recover, and regardless of how perfect your execution meaties are, a key point is going to be recognizing that you have successfully put one in and hit with it, and following it up with whatever there is. If your character happens to have loops, like I'm showing off with Cammy. Which is obviously a whole nother level to meaty pressure play in the first place. Oops. Got myself a little off balance, so let's see here. It's actually a meaningful point for me on Cammy, since I will need to confirm between if she recovers quick, I need to hit a second medium punch or cancel immediately. And if she recovers long, I need to hit a light punch instead. Oops. Not get my timing right. Unfortunately, not covered by that particular meaty string is back rise, which has its own option, but it is distinct. That V-trigger, oh my gosh. that one backwards. Oops. I built up a little meter doing that, yes. Because the confirmed I was talking about, oops, just have to burn this off, are definitely something that can be done, but they require a little practice. That was a back recovery there. So, in any case, I have shown you a little bit of working out a new, known but not very well practiced meeting with Karin, a little bit of exploration and such with Sakura, and a little bit of looping, confirm, and just steady practice on Cammy, with a little bit of idea of how the bot flows in each situation. So this version of the LauraBot, our 1.4, will be out relatively soon on our website. And you can find that after our announcement on the Twitter 2_MK_FGC. You can find it on 2-mk.org/bots, along with all of the rest of our bots and everything else that we have put together. So, with that covered, I bid you all farewell and have a good evening.